Hey Bears fans, we're back with an exclusive video and the latest updates on our beloved Chicago Bears. Before we dive in, don't forget to subscribe to our channel and hit that like button. That way, you'll always stay up to date with breaking news and exclusive content. The first 10 selections in the NFL draft have drawn significant attention, and one team decided to choose a tight end from the University of Michigan with their 10th overall pick. Although another player was still available, reports suggested that some teams had rated this tight end higher, something that, in my opinion, doesn't quite align with reality. Personally, I appreciate this choice, and we will discuss it in more detail. However, it's clear that the team placed themselves among those that opted for a selection that some consider to have greater potential, which could indeed be true. Still, I must admit that this decision surprised me a bit. Let's break down this choice. According to an analysis from a respected source, he is a competent athlete, and I agree with this assessment. He moves well across the field, shows good skills after the catch, and has a solid reach when receiving passes. As a route runner, his movement is quite fluid, and while I consider him an average blocker, I believe he has the physique and potential to improve in this aspect, which will be crucial for his development. One characteristic that stands out about this tight end is his productivity over the last 2 years, particularly in the most recent one, when he dealt with a quarterback performance that was below expectations. Despite this, he managed to rack up nearly 600 yards and 5 touchdowns. The previous year, with a more competent quarterback, he averaged 14 yards per reception, showcasing his ability for long-distance plays. This pick clearly reflects the coaching staff's preferences, which seem to favor the tight end over another player. I find this decision intriguing, as I believe the other option could have offered more creative possibilities. However, analysts have pointed out that this tight end has superior potential, suggesting that as a traditional tight end, he might provide more versatility. It's reasonable to think that the team sees him not only as a conventional tight end, but as a real offensive weapon, perhaps even envisioning him in a more open position. Furthermore, part of his potential may not have been fully explored due to the university's offensive strategy, which prioritizes the run game. He was the primary option last season. There's several factors to consider, and it seems that the team views him as a genuine asset, not just a regular tight end. They might believe he has the ability to play in multiple positions. Some of his potential may have remained unexplored because of the university's offensive style, which focuses on the run. Over the last 2 years, he has played as the primary tight end and has experience in systems that reflect professional style play under the direction of a notable coach. I can't recall the coach's name at the moment, but the central point remains. This situation is undoubtedly captivating. My initial impression is that I'm not completely convinced, but I consider the pick acceptable enough to feel comfortable. The 10th overall selection seems fair. If the other player had been picked earlier, I would have chosen the tight end over another athlete in this scenario. A player was selected just before, and the team showed interest in him, so I support this decision. It's important to trust the process that's being conducted, and fans are free to express their opinions as they wish. I believe it's essential to have faith in the strategic vision being applied. This choice seems entirely aligned with that vision. The idea is that he could become a player comparable to someone who had a great impact on his team. Last season, that team's offense used specific formations more than any other. Therefore, it's expected that we'll see a variety of plays with both tight ends on the field. I'm curious to know your thoughts on this pick. So to begin with, how would you grade this tight end selection? A, B, C, D, or F? Personally, I'd give a low B. I would have selected the other player in his place, and I won't simply accept the dominant opinion. I go with a low B or maybe a C in that range. However, if he succeeds, his potential is enormous. He has a more fluid, natural ability as a receiving tight end compared to the other player. Initially, I thought the coach would opt for the other player, and now I realize I was wrong. This is indeed quite intriguing. A deeper analysis of this tight end choice will follow, and I'm eager to map out the context of the first 10 picks. At first, there was an expectation that the trend would lean toward a certain player, but that assumption turned out to be wrong, adding an intriguing element to the situation. A more in-depth analysis of the pick will be presented soon. It's crucial to describe the first 10 selections and how the whole process unfolded, so we will address this in detail. Then, the focus will shift to potential new acquisitions. We are currently streaming all 7 rounds of the draft live. For those not watching live, there's an invitation to join the streaming experience, where each pick is commented on, not just those of a specific team. There will be a thorough examination of the selections, especially regarding other players in the same division, with live chat interaction expected. Exciting opportunities are available throughout the draft process, which spans 3 days, including coverage of undrafted free agents. Now, let's explore the insights offered by a respected draft analyst about a particular player. It was highlighted that this player has the necessary skills for full-time work, and his dynamic movements and field awareness place him as a significant target in an NFL offense. The skills and potential he demonstrates evoke comparisons with a player who is still standing out as he approaches 35 years old. If he reaches that level, it could indicate a successful pick. The question remains, can he surpass him? If he doesn't reach the level of comparison, one might question whether a top 10 pick is justified. Despite the uncertainties, the current draft class could support the selection, especially considering that the top tier appears weaker. Earlier, it was mentioned that I favored a different player, but the situation evolved into one where both picks will complement each other, while the receiver group will include several key players, along with another running back who should join on the second day. This combination results in a total of 6 offensive weapons, providing depth to the team. Now, let's revisit the steps that brought us to this point. Events became interesting early on. Another player was expected to be chosen, leaving many perplexed when a trade occurred. If that trade hadn't happened, it's likely a down trade would have been an option to secure a different player later, which ultimately didn't occur. The pick didn't come as a surprise, as those who were expecting another player were confused when the trade occurred. Had the trade not been completed, a different strategy would likely have been adopted to secure a targeted player later. After the trades, several players found new teams, with one notable pick going to a team that made a strategic move to acquire a future first-round pick. There was hope for a specific player, but the understanding that he might not be available tempered the expectations. He was ultimately chosen by another team, while other key players were selected by various franchises. The pick made was well received, as it seemed more like a reasonable decision than an arbitrary one. The debate over potential versus immediate impact is valid, as immediate contributions are necessary to achieve competitiveness from start. There is a recovery from an injury that raises questions about the current evaluation process, but confidence in the analysis is evident. This situation is undoubtedly intriguing. More updates will be provided, and it's worth noting that there's a platform available that can enhance the overall experience. For those interested in utilizing certain players in a fantasy sports context this season, there's a service that allows individuals to leverage their sports knowledge for potential gains. With a large community of users, this platform has made daily fantasy sports participation accessible to all. The process is simple. Choose a few players, assess their projected statistics, and create entries in various sports. Make your plays throughout the season with a pick platform, and yes, it's possible to turn $10 into $2,000 with the right decisions. The dynamic is quite clear. Choose 2 to 6 players. Decide if you want more or less than the projected stats, and make your picks, whether for one sport or a combination of sports. Register today and use a code to receive a bonus when betting just $5. It's essential to form a $5 selection. You'll have access to statistical projections for football throughout the season, as well as baseball, hockey, and basketball for sports currently in play. The code is CLS when you bet just $5. It doesn't matter if your selection wins or loses, it's guaranteed. Visit the site and use the code. The link is available. Let's start now. Now, a few thoughts on Loveland, and then I want to look to the future. Again, I don't believe we should place total trust in everything a team decides. But do you trust an offensive mind? Because I do. If they opted for Carlson Loveland over another player, it indicates that he has a clear purpose. Therefore, I'm not going to downplay this pick. I'm also not giving it an A, nor am I celebrating it, saying it was exactly what we wanted from the start. But Carlson Loveland is a good athlete, has great potential, and I believe his performance will also be relatively consistent. Maybe he won't help as much in the first year as another player could, but it's clear that they believe he will contribute to this offense, adding another option for the quarterback. I'm comfortable with this decision. And let's be honest, in the past, we often liked draft picks, right? We gave them high grades, and not all of them panned out. Let's see how things unfold over time. Loveland with the 10th pick, and looking to the future, more picks are coming tomorrow. They may return to the first round to select a left tackle or a defender, and they have some resources for that if they wish. For those wondering, an athlete joined the 49ers with the 11th pick as we're recording this, so we'll see from there how things progress. And of course, the team also has their day 3 picks, 148, 233, and 240. I'll make one more consideration about another athlete. They're looking for those curious, a player joined the 49ers with the 11th pick as we're recording this. So let's track how things unfold from this point. The team also has its day 3 picks in the positions mentioned. I want to share one more reflection about an athlete. I believe they made a significant effort. I think the move up by a team hampered their plans. I don't believe the intention was to trade down twice. I think they aimed to acquire a specific player and managed to do that by trading and securing a future first-round pick. As soon as the team moved up, they focused on one player, and another team was prepared to select a player if they got to that point, which really happened. It is what it is. I like the pick. I'm happy with it, given who was available. No, I'm not. I would have chosen another player, but it's a tight decision between these two athletes, each with distinct skills. Clearly, the abilities Carlson Loveland possesses are those the team believe can be optimized. Before wrapping up, an athlete was picked by the Chicago Bears at the 11th spot, and if they keep making these moves, more opportunities may arise down the road. Before we continue, don't forget to subscribe to our channel and give this video a like. Your support helps us keep bringing you the latest updates on our Chicago Bears. And don't be shy. Drop your thoughts on the news in the comments below. In a move that has sent shockwaves through the NFL offseason, Baker Mayfield has signed a 4-year contract with the Chicago Bears. The deal, which has been met with a mix of excitement and skepticism, marks a fresh start for the 2018 number 1 overall draft pick. After spending the past few seasons with various teams, including a notable stint with the Cleveland Browns and most recently the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, Mayfield's move to Chicago is seen as both a gamble and an opportunity for redemption. For the Bears, this signing represents a pivotal moment in their ongoing rebuild. The franchise has struggled to find stability at the quarterback position in recent years, with players like Justin Fields, Mitch Trubisky, and Andy Dalton failing to provide the long-term solution the team desperately needs. Mayfield, who has shown flashes of brilliance in his career but has also been plagued by inconsistency and injuries, is now tasked with leading the Bears into a new era. At 28 years old, Mayfield still has plenty of time to make his mark in the NFL. His career began with promise, earning him a Pro Bowl selection in 2020 after a strong season with the Browns. However, a series of injuries and disappointing performances have hindered his growth in recent years. Last season with the Buccaneers, Mayfield showed signs of improvement but struggled to maintain consistent play, leading to his departure from Tampa Bay. Now, with a new team and a fresh start in Chicago, the pressure is on Mayfield to prove that he can still be a starting quarterback in the NFL. The Bears have invested heavily in surrounding him with talent, bringing in key free agents and drafting young players to bolster the offense. Mayfield will have the opportunity to work with a strong supporting cast, including promising wide receiver Darnell Mooney and veteran running back Khalil Herbert. The hope is that with the right pieces around him, Mayfield can return to the form that once made him one of the most promising quarterbacks in the league. That's it for this update. If you enjoyed the video and want to stay updated with exclusive news about our Chicago Bears, be sure to subscribe to our channel and hit that like button. We can't wait to hear your thoughts in the comments. See you in the next video.